friends, and welcome to All the Things TV, where we discuss full living and goal getting with the grace and gifts God gives. I'm Tiffany Jo Baker, and today I'm going to share with you why I decided to start this podcast and why you need it in your life. Have you ever wondered how they seem to do it all? The kids' activities, the home cooked meals, the clean house, the successful side business, date nights with the hubbies? What's that? And all with a smile on their face while you're just trying to figure out how to do a load of laundry and get it put away all in the same week? Yeah, me too. When our girls were little, Trinity was about 2.5 and Selah was 6 months old, I experienced my most embarrassing moment. I trust that none of you are going to judge me, and this is going to stay between you and I because it's just not right, but it happened. I was adjusting to new mommyhood with 2 children. Lack of sleep, potty training the one, breastfeeding the other, while working part-time, being in ministry, and doing all the things. But I thought I was rocking it and had my life together, like I did when I just had one kid. But then I had a second, and it appeared that I was not rocking it like I thought. One day, early to mid-December of that year, I decided to call my mom and brag on all the things that I had got accomplished. I was like, yeah, Mom, I did my Christmas presents. I've already bought everybody's present. I've even sent out-of-state presents to family. A house is decorated. The Christmas cards are sent. All the things. And I started going on my list. Like, yeah, I sent Aunt Marlene a Christmas present and Aunt Suzanne a Christmas present. And I sent Grandma a Christmas present. And she stopped me right there. And she's like, Tiffany, Grandma? I was like, yeah, I already sent her a Christmas present. I was like glowing and smiling. She couldn't see it, but she could feel it. And she's like, honey, Grandma died last Christmas. Yep, I sent my dead grandmother a Christmas present. I know there's 2 types of people who are listening to this and watching this. One who thinks that's extremely funny and one who thinks that's awful. I get it. I felt both. I was mortified. So I called my husband, who was a police officer at the time, while he's driving around in his squad car. And I was crying so hard he couldn't even hear me. And I was like, I just sent Grandma a dead Christmas present. And he's like, what? He was like, I was like, I just sent Grandma a Christmas present and she's dead. I needed him to fix this. So my idea was to have Brian call the rural Pennsylvania post office and have them intercept the package. You know what? He did. That's how much he loves me. He called this rural town in Pennsylvania, told them, whoever answered, told them what happened. They actually found the package prior to delivering it and sent it back to me. Well, about a week later, I realized that I had already sent her a Christmas card. And my cousin was living in the house that she had lived in, so he got that Christmas card. But I was so thankful that Brian had intercepted that Christmas present. And you know what my funny husband did? That Christmas, under the Christmas tree, was a package that was labeled from Grandma to Tiffany. And Brian was like, she just wanted to give back to you. I was like, yeah, you're funny. Thanks. Well, not long after that, I started to have neck pains. I realized that I was trying to do all the things, pretending that I had it all together, operating on autopilot, checking all the things off my list, feeding people, doing my hair, doing my makeup if it was a good day, food on the table, breastfeeding, potty training, ministry leading, working, wifing, all the things. Christmas cards, Christmas present. But I wasn't really doing a good job at all the things. And that's around the time that I started having those neck pains. So I loaded the double stroller on a day off with both the girls, the diaper bags, and went in to see my doctor and started telling him about these pains. So he started asking me a bunch of questions, and then one of the questions actually got me to pause and think. And he said, "Are you stressed?" And I was like, "I don't think so." And he went on to say, "Well, I think you have shingles, and I think that they're stress induced. We'll talk about a wake up call. I was trying to balance all of it, but my body was screaming at me. And I obviously wasn't doing very well because I just sent my dead grandmother a Christmas present. Well, I know I'm not alone. You may not have done what I did, but you know the feeling. That feeling of trying to keep all the balls up in the air and all the plates spinning without everything crashing down. Plus, if you're a go-getter and multifaceted mama at heart like me, even though things aren't perfect and you're content with what you have, super grateful, you're not quite satisfied because you know that deep down, God has more for you and for your family. And because of this, you've got plans, prayer requests, projects, and the promises that God's given you that you're standing on and that you're working towards. But how do you do all the things you're called to do? Well, in each episode of All the Things TV, a special guest and I will share how to do all the things with the grace and gifts God has given you so that you can do what you were created to do. And let's face it, because of all the things, I have to make sure that I'm saying all the things I want to say to you and use my notes, and I'm okay with that. That's one of the gifts that I have is being able to type up notes to share with you all the things. Well, when we talk about the grace that God gives us, sometimes we will mistake mercy for grace. Mercy is not getting what we deserve. That's what Jesus did on the cross when he paid the price for our sins. Grace is getting something that we don't deserve. And that's God's power to do the things he's called us to do and the way he's called us to do it. Philippians 4:13 says, I can do all things, or I can do all the things through Christ who strengthens me. God has strengthened you with his power, and he's also strengthened you and empowered you with the gifts, personality, and experiences that you've been through and have, so that you can work towards your everyday and most daring dreams to come to pass. In this season, your dreams might just be a good night's sleep. It might be getting a child to eat something besides chicken nuggets. It might be your spouse coming to know Jesus. It might be publishing a book or birthing a business. Whatever it is, God has equipped you with the strength and skills that you need to move the ball forward. He's also uniquely equipped others to help you on the journey. None of us were created with all that we need to do all that we were called to do. I think that's one of the main lessons that I've learned through being a surrogate. I've had the amazing honor and privilege of carrying 5 babies for 3 families dealing with infertility. I learned so much from the strength and the process of the parents that I carried those babies for. They didn't let a diagnosis or multiple losses or even failed fertility treatments keep them from doing what they know they were supposed to do. They sought the Lord for what he wanted for them, for their unique path, the timing that they were supposed to do, and the right team, dream team that was supposed to help them along the path. From the medical team to the surrogate agency to the surrogate, each one was a piece of the puzzle that God used. I know you have a lot on your plate, but you aren't alone. God has graced you and gifted you. Matthew 19:26 says, with man, this is impossible, but with God, all things or all the things are possible. In the upcoming episodes, I will be joined by special guests who will share their priceless nuggets that they've learned while on their journey of doing all the things. Our focus is going to be on the small wins, simple strategies, and successful relationships. And just like I shared my most embarrassing moment at the beginning, remember when I sent my dead grandmother a Christmas present? That's one of my favorite questions that I'm going to be able to ask guests. So we'll tear and we'll cheer together, and we hope to empower, equip, and inspire you along the way. So make sure you subscribe to this podcast so you can be notified of each new episode, and share this with a friend who needs it. Well, friends, thank you for joining me today. You've been watching All the Things TV, and I'm Tiffany Jo Baker, helping you fuel and fulfill your faith journey through the ups and downs with small wins, simple strategies, and successful relationships. Now go do all the things that you've been called to do with the grace and the gifts God has given you.